welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you an NFL Week 7 preview between the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons. Let's start with the Falcons in this matchup. Coming on the road to Detroit, you look at what the Falcons offense can do this week to combat the tough defensive line. I would find a way to get Muhele and also Snelling in the backfield at the same time with Michael Turner. Use one of these fullbacks or one of these aggressive backs as a flex tight end, as an H-back. That way it puts a lot of pressure on those outside linebackers of the Detroit Lions, and it gives you more of a balance in the running game because both guys, especially Snelling and Muhele, these guys can effectively block, and they're also very good with the football in their hands. They're not stiff. They also can be tailbacks in the pinch for the Falcons offense. So I look for these guys to find a way to get these guys on the field at the same time. And also, I would utilize more Harry Douglas and more Weems this week against the Detroit front. Reason being, you won't have the time back there in the pocket to stretch the football vertically down the field. I would say get the football in these hands quickly to these guys like Douglas and Weems because they are effective at making the first guy miss. And you could also use that as a supplement to the running game if Detroit decides to stop it. And I look at the fact on the defensive side of the football, third down defense has to be a problem for the Atlanta Falcons. They've given up 45% conversion on third downs. The defense has to get off the field. They do a great job of applying pressure. They may not get the sack, but they do a great job of getting pushed. But they have to get off the field on third down. And I would say tight man coverage on the wide receivers. Reason being, Matt Stafford, they play in the spread, and they live by and die by. If you tight cover these wide receivers and give them the business at the line of scrimmage, it's going to force Stafford to hold that football a little bit too long, and that's how you get sacks on the QB. Now you look at Detroit in this game. I just mentioned it, live by, die by. At some point, the Lions have to find the running game balance. You cannot just continue to stay in the spread. Even the Houston Oilers find time to give the football to Lorenzo White. You have to get the football to Jahvid Best on a consistent basis. You don't want to keep teams in the ball game with the amount of incompletions that can happen in the past. Find a way to get some balance on the ground. And I will put Calvin Johnson on the interior. Have him work the middle of the field, put a lot of pressure on those safeties. Use Titus Young and also Burleson on the flanks. Keep Johnson in the middle of the field to operate with those tight ends because that's a lot of size going down the middle of that field. Now, you look at the defensive side of the football, the linebackers have to do a better job of filling gaps. I think that's where the issue is in the run defense department. Linebackers have to fill those gaps and beat Turner to the line of scrimmage. And you have to protect the flats. The Falcons will throw to the flats more than any team in the league. Protect the flats, and you can effectively make tackles because the corners of the Lions do a great job of tackling. Now, I would also play off the wide receivers if I were the Lions as well too. Force Matt Ryan to get rid of that football quickly, which he will, and those Lions corners will be able to come up and react to the Falcons catching the football. Now let's take a look at some X factors in this game. The X factors for the Atlanta Falcons have to be the linebackers. The linebackers are going to have a tough task this week covering those two tight ends in Scheffler and also Pettigrew. So those linebackers have to be effective in pass coverage this week against the Detroit Lions. X factor for the Lions this week has to be Scott Linehan. He would, if I were him, I would utilize more Matt Stafford under center this week as opposed to in the gun. Give this guy a chance to turn his back, get the play action going. Don't run everything out of the spread, and they can have some success this week. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. I like what I saw at the Falcons defense last week. There's a lot of activity, just enough to cause a lot of commotion for the Detroit Lions. Plus, with the Lions not being able to stop the run, look for the Falcons to control the clock and give the football a lot to Michael Turner and get those other backs involved as well. For more NFL previews, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. And listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.